relevant arrest record, or a copy of the relevant FBI background check, which is probably the easiest way to do this, frankly. 3, a certified copy of the relevant prosecutor's case file, or a letter from the prosecutor's office indicating the charge filed, or a certified copy of the judgment of conviction, and then the arrest, prosecution, or conviction list for the applicant's parent, guardian, or spouse. Then you need to show that relationship. So a valid government issued photo ID of the parent, guardian, or spouse, and the proof of the relationship, whether through a birth certificate, judgment of adoption or guardianship, or a marriage certificate. Next slide. Claiming residency in a zip code or census tract where the historic rate of incarceration for marijuana-related offenses is 50% higher than the rate in the entire state. That is a letter from the local prosecutor's office verifying compliance with this requirement. Then for applicants claiming graduation from a school district that was unaccredited, or residency in a district where it is unaccredited, you would need a certified copy of the applicant's diploma, or a certified copy of the applicant's high school diploma. I think it's a certified copy of the applicant's diploma, but then also a letter from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education showing that the district was unaccredited at that time. Primarily because of the fact that since this is still a federally illegal substance, basically it is very, very difficult. You essentially could not get a bank loan to finance the what we call the plant touching aspects of the business. So if you're a dispensary, let's say, you could not get a bank loan that would actually help you to buy the marijuana or to employ people to distribute the marijuana. So most of the money is usually raised through partnership opportunities. So you can have equity partners that are buy into it, they invest and they get returns, and then that's an opportunity where you can be, if you want. If you're not bringing a whole lot of money to the table, you can do sweat equity into it and have a portion of the ownership established through your work, but someone else does the majority of the actual paying for things. All right, so I think everybody is familiar with the potential upside of this industry, but I do want to give a word of caution that this is a challenging industry. It's something that is still very new. Everyone is still learning, basically kind of building the plane as we fly it, and so there are a lot of challenges associated with it. So one of the first is compliance. Compliance is absolutely necessary in this industry. It is highly regulated, and the hard part about it is that nothing you do in compliance is actually going to increase the amount of revenue that you're bringing in. But it does prevent you from potentially having your license disciplined, from having fines, or potentially actually having a license revoked. So it is something that you have to take seriously, you have to invest in. And in industries that are highly regulated but have been around for a long time, let's say the alcohol industry, banking industry, something like that, those rules don't change a whole lot because they've been established for decades, if not centuries in some cases. Whereas with this industry, no system has rules that date back more than a couple decades, and most not more than a decade. Deduct those business expenses, that can mean that your effective tax rate is upwards of 50 or even 60%. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do to minimize that, and that's something that you want to talk to an accountant about. I'm certainly not qualified to give you specific instructions on that, but that is a major hurdle. Hopefully, if there's some federal reform, that issue will go away, but that is one of the biggest challenges for anybody in the industry today.
Okay, so as I said earlier, I've been in the industry since about 2017, and I have seen this industry exponentially grow over the years. While it was once, can you all hear me? No. Nope, okay. How about that? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I was saying that I've been in the industry for some time, and I've watched the industry grow exponentially over the years. If you look at that chart at the retail forecast, this is the retail side of the business, and how small that number was in comparison to how it's grown. started, it was around in the millions of dollars, is what the industry was projected to be worth. And it's now worth upwards of around $34 billion. And a lot of times we don't realize how significant of a difference of a number that is. But if you look at 1 billion seconds is equivalent to 11 and a half days. 1 billion seconds is equivalent to around 34 and a half years. And so we're talking about a lot of money to be made here within this industry, considering how much we have been criminalized, considering how much we have been beaten down, not granted access into this industry. There is a lot of room for growth here. You can't really see, but it shows that the last margin is the biggest retailer point is flour for the industry, which is the plant, right? The smoking, the consumption, the turning it into another product, etc. And so for me, that means that the key here is cultivation. It's tapping into the market and being able to grow your own, like the illicit market would say, cutting out the middleman and being able to have and tap into your own resources. Same thing with food. Anytime that you can put that seed into the ground and produce a plant, you have power there. And so it's very important for us to be able to take a look at this industry as more than an opportunity for us to just do social events or just have fun, right? There is real market value here in this industry that we can take advantage of. Next slide. In this industry. How many cultivators do we have in Rome? Anyone in here who has Rome? Oh, I love that. Look at that. So powerful. Many of my career has been fighting for the injustices of Black, brown, and poor people. But what I'm noticing in this industry is that there's a lot of division unnecessarily. Because for me, this industry is not just black and white. This industry is very green. And that's what's really affecting our barriers of entry is poverty. Poverty is really the enemy with this industry. It's the barrier point. So how do we begin to look at the resources that we currently have now as a people and say, what can I do in this industry and turn this into something different? Next slide. And I feel like Amendment 3 has really done a great job in providing social equity benchmarks within this measure that were not there before. John said earlier that there's not a lot of people who will hit every single qualification marker for these micro licenses. Having a net worth of less than $250,000. Coming from a census tract with low poverty and unemployment. Coming from an unaccredited high school. Having a background due to maybe being young and having a little bit of heat on you and getting in trouble. But I actually happen to fit each and every last one of those markers myself. And so, had it not been for the opportunity for us to break down some of those barriers and provide an opportunity in this industry, my own self wouldn't even be able to have a chance. So we have a real opportunity here to create some generational wealth. I want to talk to you all about working together. People often say, oh, these people that have the dispensaries now, they have all the power. You know, and the true power is working together. A lot of those folks who got the dispensaries didn't get it. They put their money together, they put their minds together, they put their resources together, and they apply for those licenses. And that's what we should be doing. We should be practicing group economics and really tapping into each other and using our networks and our resources and making sure that we qualify for some of these things that we have available for us. Being able to maybe tap into some senior living facilities or looking at larger contracts like that, hospitals, and seeing what we can do. They have liquid diets and things of that sort, right? Maybe we can begin to talk about how we can help with our food safety, food insecurity, and hybrid that with this industry as well. So the opportunities are endless. Also, nurses. Before, in order to get a medical marijuana card, which it is still a good thing to get a medical marijuana card, there's a lot of provisions and safety measures within those. You get a lot of discounts as well when you're a medical card holder, a lot of access to the industry with that. But before, you used to have to be a provider, a physician, to write the authorization for someone to be able to use medical marijuana. With Amendment 3, nurse practitioners are now available to write those prescriptions or authorizations, should I say. And if you think about that, that opens up, again, another lane for you to have your own cannabis clinic and to begin to process those medical marijuana cards all day, right? So just new avenues here. Mental health, looking at the cannabinoids, looking at the terpenes in the plant and seeing how that affects your body and saying, hey, this terpene is great for mental health. Limonene, it's a terpene that's in cannabis. It's great for anxiety. It's great for depression. And so if we begin to look at the mental health ailments and illnesses that we face in our communities, cannabis can definitely be a resource for them. So say you wanted to have a consumption amount, like for instance, I have an educational facility in Delwood. I had to go to the city of Delwood and see what the zoning was like, or the ordinances was like in that community. So if you're interested in starting one of these consumption licenses, consumption lounges, or social event halls or something like that where folks will be able to consume on your property, you would have to go to your local governing officials and see how that is zoned out and what you can begin to do to change the policies within your area, because a lot of them are simply not aware of the provisions that we have before us. And once you do that, then you should be a go. So I had to go through that, city council, etc. But by this being a statewide initiative, many of the municipalities are